I was looking at black church facts and some issues with the black church, and God spoke to my heart about Revelation chapter 3 and the church of Sardis. And it says, "And unto the angel of the church in Sardis write, These things saith he that hath the 7 spirits of God and the 7 stars. I know thy works, that thou hast a name that livest and art dead." God brought those words straight to my mind when thinking about the black church. And that black church label is a name that is kind of a misnomer because it's God's church, but church with primarily black folks in it, which are the churches which I'm most familiar with, a lot of them have a name that's alive, but are dead. There's no life in them. There are no kids in them. There are no young people. And I'm not saying that the old folks aren't holding it down as best they can. But when a church stops outreaching, it's dead. When a church stops growing, it's dead. When you got 5 members and a pastor, that's a dead church, especially if it's been around for 50 years. If it's not just starting up, it's dead and dying. You don't want to have a name of alive, but are dead. Today we would call that the walking dead. And I believe that we have a lot of walking dead churches. Churches that are stumbling and hobbling along, but there's no life in them. They've given themselves to the culture, given themselves up to popular opinion, given themselves over to everything but Jesus Christ. But it says also in verse 2, "Be watchful and strengthen the things that remain that are ready to die. For I have not found thy works perfect before God." As we question the black church, we're not only questioning the black church, we have to go look inner and deeper, because churches are made of members. Because if the church body is dead, then the church members are dead. It says be watchful. That word watchful is keep awake. Wake it up. Basically stimulate it. The same way you would when you say your arm fell asleep. When the arm falls asleep, it's not taking a nap. It's not getting the circulation that it needs to survive. It's not circulating. It's not moving. It's stuck. And because of that, there's pain. And there's pain in the culture. There's pain in the black community today because of a dead and dying church. But it sounds alive. If you went on Sunday, they're making noise. Go there on Sunday, they're shouting. They're being joyful. It says watch and strengthen. That word strengthen there is sterizo, which is set fast. Turn resolutely in a direction. Sounds like repentance to me, where you're talking about turning. It says, "For I have not found thy works perfect before thy God." The thing is this, we got to get better. It says, "Remember thou how thou hast received and heard, and hold fast." And in these last and evil days, Jesus is calling for all the churches to remember how it was in the beginning. I was born in the 70s, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s and remember church from back then and how it was vibrant and hitting the community. And even at that time, if folks knew you were a pastor or a preacher, folks had a certain respect for the pastor and the preacher. We weren't married to a party or a person. We were just married to God and said whatever God said in spite of who said it, in spite of who disagreed, in spite of what the culture said. We got to remember back to that time and love like that time and live like those times when we love God with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength. And then comes the warning. "If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee." Basically, I'm going to get you when you're not expecting it. I'm going to get you and take from you when you don't expect it. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. God is coming. These are the last days and times. Verse 4 says, Thou hast a few names, even in Sardis, which have not defiled their garments, and they shall walk with me in white, for they are worthy. God sees the sin that we've allowed, and it doesn't go unnoticed by him. And there are plenty of black churches that are out here doing their thing. Plenty of black churches that are out here that are living, loving the way that God has called. But to the greater black church, we got to grow. We got to be better. We have to do what verse 5 says, overcome, so that we can be clothed in white raiment. That it's not hopeless. The game isn't over. Yeah, the time is late. Many times I watch Red Zone, and in Red Zone, they talk about the witching hour, where wins become losses and losses become wins. This is the witching hour, where wins can become losses and losses can become wins. But we got to wake up if we want to win. It says, He that overcometh, the same shall be clothed in white raiment, and I will not blot out his name out of the book of life, but I will confess his name before my Father and before his angels. That word says blot out, says obliterate, smear out. That's one of the most scary things, and I believe in eternal security, but this here gives me pause. Were you blotted out before, or were you never in? But here's the promise that he won't blot it out. Saying what he won't do. That he's not going to blot out your name if you overcome. If we prevail. If we conquer. If we get the victory. That's that word, Nikeo.